Hey everyone, there you are. It's your boy Dan here with another update on the Jay Slater case. We're here seeking justice, and with that in mind, we have a link for you. It's right at the top of our bio and it's right in the comment section as well. Please do sign it, because if you feel as strongly as all of us do, we want justice for Jay Slater. And by the way, we want it now. There's been lots of things being said, some misinformation being spread on a daily basis, but we know the difference. We want justice for Jay, and we want it now. And we're going to just keep on going, no matter how long it takes until we get there. Remember guys, we need everyone to take part. Tell a friend, anybody that you know relating to this case who has an interest in getting justice, do tell them. Sign the petition to get justice for Jay Slater. Not only that, any comments you'd like to make, please do make them. We're open to everybody's suggestions. Also, do like, share and subscribe, because it helps more people find our channel. So with all that in mind, we'll get into today's installment. We've got a lot to get through. Please do stay until the end, because we've a lot of new information that's not in the public domain. And we've got a whole group of people, and thanks to the likes of Ali and all her supporters for passing on some crucial information that nobody else has. We'll reveal that next as we pursue justice for Jay Slater. Now today we're going to take a deep dive into two individuals who are really in the middle of this case big time. And those two individuals are Aroub and Rocky. Now these two people own several properties across the UK, one being in London. So these people have money, and we know where they're after getting all this money, through their ill-gotten gains. We also know for a fact that both of these two individuals are ruthless, and they have been cooking up some vast amount of money in recent years. Now, cuckoo is the operative word here, because they take the likes of Airbnbs, timeshare, guest houses, and they all use it as cover for criminal gangs. It's named cuckoo. It takes its name from birds who have nests and other birds who lay eggs. In other words, it all falls under the banner of a nest called cuckoo, and that is how these individuals operate. Now, Rocky has had a string of offences in the past few years. Stretching back even 3 years ago, he was in possession of Class A drugs with intent to supply. And also sentenced was Aroub. This was part of a Welsh bust, and he got 8 years. Aroub got 9. So you can see from those two instances alone that these people mean business. They don't really care about anybody else. They're out for money, fame and everything that goes with it. In other words, the trappings of drugs, the watches, the houses, the fancy cars, you name it. It's all got by ill-gotten gains, and these people will step on whoever to get their wishes. Now, this Rocky guy has a string of offences, as we mentioned. He's been involved in drugs. He's been involved in other crimes as well. Aroub as well. So you can put it together that these two individuals are not to be messed with. In other words, if they moved in with you right now, I don't think you will be knocking at their door tonight or at any stage looking for a cup of sugar. I'm sure you'd get a lot more than sugar. By the way, organised gangs across the UK are there, and they're stretching out over many countries. Not only in the UK, but they're also in Tenerife, Greece, Malta, Ibiza, and of course in Ireland as well, where one of the main leaders is now based in Dubai. We all know who he is. Indeed, his own wife is trying to go down the legit road by being involved in buying and selling properties. We all know how that one is going to go. But you know how these cartels always operate. At the top, all these people will wash their hands, and they'll get minions down below them at different levels who will take it upon themselves to do the dirty work for them. And of course, the money just keeps piling in, and the drugs increase, and more people will die and fall along the wayside, but not too many people will give a damn about them. And that is the nub of it. People like the Jay Slaters of this world who really need justice. And of course, the cartel kingpins don't give a toss. They're overflowing with money, bags of it, millions of it. And it's quite easy to see what they're doing when they get involved in corruption. They filter the money from the top down and they in turn try to kill the story. But you see, people can see through all this bullshit. And that's what it is, because it's all very well walking around with a nice watch, fancy car and a nice home. But when it's funded from ill-gotten gains, sooner or later, you're going to be looking over your shoulder. And that is going to happen. By the way, when you look at organised gangs across the UK, they form into unique parts. They look out for number one. Now these organised gangs, they look out for number one. And why wouldn't they? All their ill-gotten gains just piles up and up and up. And all that money has to go somewhere. You know, there's only so much money you can make before you have to disperse it. And of course, these gangs are kings of it, especially when it comes to washing money. And that includes, for instance, buying properties and washing money through money laundering. It can be done, of course. Offshore accounts to name but one. Some of the gangs will infiltrate the likes of local government and even higher. All these gangs will start at the top, work their way down, find officials that will take money, call it what you will, brown envelope job, corruption, but it's all there and designed to get things done and try and corrupt as many people as possible by taking money. And of course, let's face it, who would not turn down the opportunity of making extra money and turn a blind eye at everything else? But you see, that's what happens when innocent people like Jay Slater gets caught up in all of this. He was a naive teenager, got involved, mainly thanks to that sidekick Lucy. He was promised the sun, moon and the stars and a bit more. And of course she sang off of every hymn sheet going to show how lucky he was to be asked to take part and make loads of money. Of course, it wasn't until later on when she told him that it's possible he might die if things didn't work out, that changed the whole complexion of all of this sad story. But local government and local gangs are all involved in the same thing. They will portray a feeling that they're out for the common good, for the people that are there. They're there to project a whole society that is doing the right thing, that promotes it in the right way. It's a safe place to come. It's a safe place to go on holiday. It's a safe place to party. But of course, we know that that is far from the truth. All these criminals, of course, you must realise there's layer upon layer upon layer. And the further you go up that greasy pole, the harder and the more chances you have of getting yourself killed. That's what's happening, but they are clever, because criminal gangs will talk to everyone underneath them. They will have methods in place so you can get a fast getaway and never get caught. Plus, when you're pouring money out to every Tom, Dick and Harry that has a bit of power up the greasy pole, you know you're in with a good chance of getting away with it. We spoke really of the businesses by these cartels have, and these are the ones from Arub upwards. They're all making money left, right and centre. Remember now, they must do something with it. They can't put it under the bed. So what are they doing? They're opening properties. They're opening things that people won't turn a blind eye at. For instance, take a look at your own town, and especially take a look at the amount of, for instance, barbers that are there. Would it not surprise you that there's money being laundered in those? Because remember, cash business. So many people coming in there every day, nobody knows how much is going in, how much is going out. Very easy to be laundered. Another one, and this we got a tip off and we got a few emails regarding it as well. And this may not be a one that will completely come to mind, but how about fishing shops? Yes, you heard correctly, fishing shops. Now, if you've got a fishing shop in any major town, regardless of the population, we'll give a general estimate of a population of say, in an average city, maybe between 20 to 30,000. How many of those fishing shops actually make money? I would categorically say none. And the reason being is, how many people do you think will go in and buy a fishing rod every day? Not very many, I would think, and certainly not enough to pay the electricity, the lighting, and paying a couple of people in the shop. So it's quite obvious the likes of coffee shops, barbers, fishing shops, all businesses like that will be targeted for money laundering. And of course, a bit like Walter White in Breaking Bad, any sort of laundry can do, even car washes, as we've seen in that. And it's not only in Breaking Bad it happens everywhere. And all these businesses that wash money, there's quite a few. And some of them, of course, will surprise you. There's everything from the likes of stores that operate and buy in weapons and guns. And there's everything else that goes with it. Human trafficking, for instance. Also debt collecting. And crime that may really flow under the river, but really and truly, it doesn't get exposed enough. Before I go any further, folks, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It helps more people find our channel. Not only that, we want to give everybody a chance to put forward their ideas and their input. We're here for everybody. We're very inclusive of that. We want to hear all your comments. Also, by the way, if you want to sign that petition to get justice for Jay Slater, it's in our comments section here. Do click on it and do please add your name to the ever-growing long list. It would mean a lot. Lots of us here want justice for Jay Slater, and I'm sure you do too. So if you can, please do sign it. As I mentioned, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because it does help more people find our channel. And the more people that find our channel, the more comments that we can get, and the more information we can get, the more chance we have of finding the perpetrators who did this awful crime to Jay Slater. And we want to get peace for his family and peace for the community that are around Jay Slater, because nobody deserves this. They're a heartbroken family, and it's the least thing that they deserve is to get peace and to get justice more importantly. Now, let's go back to these two Somalis. You remember that they were with Jay and they were deemed to be irrelevant with the Spanish police. Now, that's no surprise in the greater gist of things, because the Spanish police like to take the easy route, and what we know now is that these two are very, very relevant and are both killers. Now, there's been a listing of this boat that was been owned by Dr. Nasser. It was built back in 1990, again sold 2021. Nasser, as you know, rich businessman. The vessel was altered, different shapes, colours, and he's a rich businessman. So he's got form, to say the least, and also he could well be involved more than what we know at this present time. What is interesting is what accompanies that vessel is a small boat. It has got various colours, various logos, and it also returned to Lopez Beach. Now, some of the features, some of the characteristics that are red flags here. Number one, taxi for Slater. Interesting to say the least. Second of all, its call sign is OP 8101. OP 8101. So, looking back of all what you've heard there now, and you can piece together and follow the trail of crumbs. Arub is definitely up to it, big time. He has been spotted, we are told. Now, we can't confirm this, but I've had several contacts who have told me that he's in Somalia. Now, we do know he's got family there, but there's been lots of suggestions that he's on the run. Maybe he is, but he has got a lot to hide, and we do know that he really is afraid that something might slip out, dare I say it, the truth. So this individual has form. This individual is part of the gang. This individual is part of the famous mafia. He's done a few layers, but he knows a lot. A couple of things we want to say before we close on this particular episode. Number one, to the great credit of the Slater family, Warren has voiced his concerns practically from day one and has said in not as many words he doesn't believe the version of events that has came out. We're not going to go back on that track because we're all pretty much aware of it all. Sum it up, it's really bullshit, but we all know what he's saying. But one interesting thing I'd like to pose is this, and I may ruffle a few feathers here, but I think the question has to be asked. The Slater family spoke to the son. They spoke to other media as well. And of course, that was their right. They also did an interview with the son, and that was up to them. And of course, they got money from that. But that's beside the point. Warren, on the other hand, has made his feelings known regarding Jay Slater, his own son. But what is really interesting about all of this is that why does Warren not speak to the YouTubers who are making a case for his family and his son? Now, the reason I ask this is quite simple. Warren is quick enough to use social media to his advantage. And of course, he's right. Absolutely, 100%. But, you know, why not talk to the people who are trying to be there for you, who are looking for justice on your behalf? And these are all the YouTubers. Many are out there. I'm not pointing the finger at myself, but there's quite a few people that are out there doing great work. And to acknowledge that, Warren should really talk to at least one of them and speak with his version of events. Can't really hurt, can it? Because all these people, myself included, are here for one thing and one thing only. And we'd like to address all the people who think we're just here for clicks and subscriptions and we're making loads of money out of all this stuff. Couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the truth is that we want justice for Jay Slater. We want justice for his family. We want justice with everyone connected with him. What we don't want are people to get off scot-free, his so-called friends, and people higher up the food chain that should be locked up and the key chucked away forever. That's what we want. For now, we'll park it there. We'll be back soon with another update. But like Starship, we're going nowhere and nothing is going to stop us now or ever. The more times we get kicked, the more times we'll come back even stronger. We always appreciate your views, your help, your support. And do please remember, if you want to comment, please do so. If you want to be confidential, absolutely, no problem. Use that email, we will not quote you. And that way we'll get closer and closer to the truth of this Jay Slater case. I'm Dan, thanks for dropping by, really appreciate it. We'll be back soon with more.